The August 11th Lansing City Council meeting was packed. Folks having opinions on how the city treats people experiencing homelessness spoke out. An East Lansing City Council member, Ingham County Health Services, a reverend, landowners, current shelter workers, emergency services workers, community organizers, and many others. Council approved a budget amendment allowing $650,000 for a one-time purchase of 50 temporary pod units. Most agreed this was a good first step, but there is a long way to go. And some decisions the city has already made indicate that they are not bringing all the necessary voices to the table while developing more steps in the plan. Welcome to What Lansing Council, a podcast transforming Monday night's Lansing City Council meetings into an enthralling recap. I'm your host, Jill Dombrowski, and today my very special guest is Eva Menefee. Eva works as the lead faculty advisor at Lansing Community College as well as an instructor there. She has raised her family in Lansing, and she runs a food truck at pow-wows and other cultural events during the summers. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jill. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Amazing. For an additional introduction for our listeners, how would you describe Lansing in your own words?
You know, I love Lansing. I'm so happy that I've been able to raise my family here. And I found a neighborhood that's a quiet neighborhood that really hasn't changed much in the past 30 years that I've lived in that neighborhood. So it's kind of a cool place to live. We've had our ups and downs over the years, and I understand that they had talked about homelessness, and we can talk about that in a few minutes. But I really think that mayors that we've had, councils that we have really tried to kind of boost up our city. I mean, I even saw Andy Shore on, I think, MSNBC the other morning talking about General Motors and what's happening here with tariffs, etc.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And what's something that you would like to see change in Lansing?
I really would like to see us not have so many closed business buildings. Mm-hmm. Things are empty, or someone might find a niche to get into a building and only be there a couple of years, and the next thing you know, it's empty again.
Yeah.
Ever since I was, first came to Lansing from the Detroit area to go to Michigan State, and I'm one of those people who never left, so I'm still here. But I remember we've always talked about wanting to get more young people downtown, to build up our infrastructure, to build up downtown. Mm-hmm. And I think that we tried. Mm-hmm. It's great stuff happening over on the north end. But I still don't, like in Old Town, but I still don't think that there's been enough to encourage young people to come and live in Lansing. Yeah. You know, we build great apartments that a young person can't afford. Yes. You know, we've totally kind of gentrified downtown. Mm-hmm. It used to not be like that. Granted, nobody wanted to live there because of how bad it used to be, but now no one can afford to live there because of how they built it up. Mm-hmm. So
we haven't found the sweet spot yet.
No, not yet.
Still working on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I next want to give a bit of an election update. We had an election this past week, and it was our city primary. There were 15,000 folks who came out to vote out of 88 registered, so that's 17%. I worked the election at the Potter Park Zoo. We were in a very over-air-conditioned event space, but we could see the bald eagle Hal out the window.
Cool.
So that was nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, and we got to pet one puppy that was not part of the zoo. The park's millage passes by 73%, so they get their funding for the next couple of years. The mayoral incumbent, Andy Shore, makes it through to the general with 64% of the vote, as well as political newcomer Kelsey Hector with 16%. The rest were in single digits. For our council, all the incumbents made it through. At large, Councilmember Garza got 20%, newcomers Julie Vandenboom 17%, Clara Martinez 17%, Aurelius Christian 9.5%. In the 4th Ward, Peter Spatafor received 57% of the vote, and Heath Lowry 26%. So they'll all advance, and we'll see them again in the general election in November.
Yeah.
Any additional thoughts on election results?
Where I live, I think that this is the funniest thing. So I have known Andy Shore for a long time. if he saw me, he wouldn't have a clue who I am, but I've seen him, and I'm really involved with the MEA, and so I go to a lot of Democratic stuff.
What's the MEA?
The Michigan Educational Association.
Okay.
Michigan Education Association.
Oh, that's great.
So I've seen him at a lot of places and seen Governor Whitmer at a lot of places. And even though people complained about Andy Shore, I have to tell you there is one thing that happened on his watch that I am so proud of the city of Lansing is.
Oh, let's hear it.
And that is Walter French, the residents there.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Why can't we replicate that in other buildings for more housing for our people? Pods are nice. Housing is better.
Yeah.
You know, I have a place I can call home where I can make a grilled cheese, where I can have a plunger in case I stuff up the toilet. I mean, just things that living in a real house mean to people. It would make a huge difference. But that one thing just always sticks to my mind.
Yeah.
So Jeremy Garza, and I think he's been doing a pretty good job. I met him years ago when he was first running for city council. He invited my husband and I to a festival, a diversity festival they were having at, I can't remember because this was years ago.
Okay.
But anyways, we went there and it was a really, really nice event. And I don't think they ever had it again.
Oh.
They just had it one time. It was like on a Saturday and he invited our food truck there. And so we were out there. But I think the coolest thing that happened is you never know what will happen when you go someplace, especially the small business. And the gal from the State Journal was there writing from Lansing State Journal was writing an article about the festival. And then she came and she said, I never heard of a Native American food truck. Her article bounced from the Lansing State Journal all over. Gannett took it all over the state of Michigan. I was getting calls from all these places to bring our food truck to ethnic festivals and that kind of stuff. So it was really an interesting experience because we didn't really do a lot of publicity for our truck. We had pretty much a route that we always have went. But even today, and it's many, many years later, I still get people to say, oh, I saw you was at the library and I found you in the Google search and blah, blah. Yep.
That's amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's the name of your food truck?
Our food truck's called Anishinaabe Medium. We have a few more gigs. We're going to be at Port Huron Powell this weekend, which is Saturday only. We'll be in Grand Rapids. The week after Labor Day, and then we'll be at the 26th and 27th of September, whatever that Saturday, Sunday is. We'll actually be at Adado Riverfront Park.
Oh, wow.
The Anishinaabe Friendship Center is going to be having a powwow there, so we'll be there set up.
Nice. Amazing. We'll have to go check that out.
Yeah.
Thanks. So, thank you for bringing up Walter French. That was also brought up at this meeting. There was a lot of talk about options for how we could be doing things better in regards to our unhoused population. And I want to talk about what happened at the Committee of the Whole first, which is usually a very quiet meeting, but it was not this time. It was packed. At the meeting, we had our president, Ryan Cost of the First Ward, our council president, Jeremy Garza, currently representing the Second Ward. He was not there. He had an excused absence. Adam Hussein of the Third Ward, Brian T. Jackson of the Fourth Ward, and all of our current at-large members, Jeffrey Brown, Tamara Carter, Vice President, Trini Pelivanoglu, and Peter Spatafor. The mayor, Andy Shore, was there for both meetings, as well as City Attorney Greg Venker. So first on the agenda was public comment, and usually you have to sign in and then they call you up, but everybody was just jumping in there and it went fine.
Oh my gosh. A free-for-all.
Yeah, it was a bit of a free-for-all. So there were 26 comments, one virtual comment that worked great. Most of the comments were about the city's policy or lack of policy on treatment of people living wherever they can. So what's happening here is a budget amendment is put forward at these meetings, and it's for current funds that are already allocated to the Human Relations and Community Services Department, HRCS. That's our city department. And the budget amendment is to purchase 50 pods that will be used as temporary housing, 34 single units and 16 double units. So the city is currently has filed a lawsuit against some property owners just north of the Dietrich Park in Ward 4, northwest of Old Town. And this lawsuit seems to be on pause for the time being. So they're not currently going after trying to sweep the camp there. Okay, so I'm going to say some of the comments. Not all of them, but this is my summary. So people are saying this could go well or not well. We've got to be very intentional about how we do this. There are a lot of people here who are great resources. Please include everybody in the discussions of how this is going to work out. Somebody said, a lot of people say we need to include families and kids, disabled folks, folks with pets in our plan, because these people can have a hard time in the current shelter system.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to have a place that is secular, so not a religious place, a place that is safe for trans folks and other members of the LGBT plus community. And this place has to have other services as well. For years, we've had an inefficient system between the parks, the police, and the unhoused folks. This is why we have seen an increase of encampments on private properties. And somebody else said, we need to make sure we are only helping people originally from Lansing, not people who have moved here from other cities or states because our services are better. And then another person said, it is now illegal to be a transgender person in many states. We're seeing trans kids flee to the north. Somebody said, we've got to better document folks. We need to have a census of who's here so we can apply to get more services if we can prove how many people we have here who are unhoused. Somebody says, why don't we spruce up some of our old buildings like Walter French instead of buying new pods? We have so many currently vacant buildings. Somebody else said it's very costly to sweep these camps in Eugene, Oregon. They have saved an estimate of $8.5 million annually by creating intentional pod communities. We can do that here, and it'll save us money. So great, we love saving money. Somebody from a current housing resource agency in Ingham County said some truly bleak stories about how she is tired of helping new mothers living out of their vehicles to learn the signs of heat stroke in their infants.
My, that's interesting.
Other people were saying the housing first model works. Without a stable place, everything else is so much harder to do. We've got an unhinged federal administration that is working to eliminate unhoused people. We need to protect our vulnerable while we can. An official from the surrounding area said, we can help too. East Lansing, Ingham County, Eaton, Clinton, all these folks, we can help you out. Like, we can build a centralized plan here. A current shelter worker said, we've learned so much from the work that we've done. Please don't leave us out of the process. We've got a lot of good information to share. One person with a home near the Dietrich Park camp asked the city to clear the camp because of crime, home values being affected, and stalled economic development in the neighborhood.
That's interesting.
Yes.
I wonder what they mean, stalled economic development. People aren't buying the houses there, and so they're just having a lot of people leave them. Interesting.
Or like there's some vacant businesses around there. Like nobody's going to want to buy and buy there and make it a better business. People currently experiencing homelessness spoke about their experiences staying in the camp currently and at other places, and how the camp is a safer place and provides an opportunity to have community. And people who have experienced homelessness in the past also spoke out. Some veterans talking about what it is like. This can happen to anyone. And some people saying, thank you for putting this forward. We're glad to see some progress is being made. And we need to have transparency and accountability from the city throughout the process.
I would have to agree with that. You know, I think about years ago, I also teach a first-year experience class at LCC. And I remember I had the student that came to my class one time. First day, he had two big garbage bags. He put them in the back of the room, came, sat, whatever. Left, class was over, he went away. Next to class time, came in with his two big garbage bags, put them in the back of the room, sat down, we had our class, whatever. The third time I asked him, I said, how come what is in those bags? How come you keep bringing those garbage bags here? And he says, well, I have no place to live, and if I go to the shelter, someone will steal my stuff. So it's easier for me to just carry them around. Could be a very good student. tons of potential. Anyone willing to carry their stuff around every place, even to class, is brave enough to really try to move themselves ahead.
Yeah.
I think that all of us, there's an old native saying, don't judge someone until you walk a mile in their moccasins. And many people who are homeless in the city, we don't know what their circumstance is. And we need to be careful that when we look at people and talk to people, that we are not judging people, because the judgment is what makes you think, oh, they're dirty and they're not worthy and blah, 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 blah. But we don't know what their story is, because every single person has a story. And we have to be careful that we can't feel like their story is infringing on my rights, because your rights might be infringing on their story.
Yes. Your
ability to read all the manuals, your ability to fill out the paperwork, your ability to do all of those things, that persons who's homeless might not have that ability. And so we think as human beings, we need to care for our brothers and sisters enough to help them. That's why I say I'm so happy when I see Walter French, because Lansing has taken a step to build apartments where people and families can live, that's a safe place, that has a parking lot that's being kind of green because they have the solar panels there. I mean, all of the things about that is a plus. Imagine if we had maybe 3 or 4 of those around town, where people could afford to live and have their stuff and be someplace that's safe. And that would make all the difference. We do have a lot of abandoned buildings here. Like I said before, we have a ton of storefronts that, not that a storefront could be a place to live, but it could be a center. It could be something else. One of the things that I can I always think that in city government, stuff is just like in education. It goes around in a circle. We do it, and then we forgot how we did it, and instead of tweaking, we throw it away and then start something new, right? We always do that. So I can remember years ago in Lansing, I think Dave Hollister was the mayor. Oh, man, I'm dating myself. And they instituted community policing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Freaking community policing works.
Yeah.
We have police on the south side and the north side and the east side and the west side and downtown. It works. People know that you're police officers. They're wandering around. They're riding their bikes. They're in your neighborhood. And what happened to crime? Went down, right?
Yeah.
What happened to homeless people? They weren't hanging out everywhere. Granted that we still had it. It wasn't a problem. We didn't have any homeless. We still did.
Sure.
But how it worked. And then why did we get rid of it?
Budget cuts.
Budget cuts.
Yeah.
Budget cuts. Everything that we do.
It's like, what are people doing instead? Like,
yeah.
What is this policeman doing that's more important?
Thank you. Yeah. I often wonder about that. What's more important than having the police in the community helping everybody, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I think. What happens is that we think about stuff, we bring it forward to the city council, just like all those folks did. They talk about it and talk about it. Let's quit talking.
Yeah.
Let's do something.
Yeah.
And doing something isn't going over there and making all those people at that park get out.
Yeah.
Because the question will be, sure, I'll get out. Where do I go?
Where are we going?
Where am I going to go?
What's the plan?
Yeah. Help me get a plan. And we have another thing, too, in Lansing, oh, my God, we have so many good services. I mean, we're the county seat.
Yeah.
Well, for health department, and we have tons and tons of services to help people here.
Yeah.
We need to guide those folks to those services.
Yes.
Or bring those services to the people.
You got it. Yeah.
And
it was nice to see people from a lot of those services there at the meeting talking about how, they want to be a part of the plan. Like, where's the plan?
Yeah.
So this was the first step of their plan. So HRCS, the department, was there to talk more about this, first step of the plan, as well as the chief strategy officer. And they were like, these pods are on sale. We need to buy them now. They're normally $1.3 million.
So my question is this. I would like to know, of the people who want to buy the pods, I want to know who of those people are going to live in a pod.
Yes.
Because if these pods are so great, let's move from where you live to a pod.
Yeah.
And you remember what I talked about, walking in someone's moccasins.
Right.
Let's see how it is.
Yeah, tell the city council overnight sleepover in the pods.
There you go.
So they're like our plan. This is the city HRCS plan. They're like, it's gonna be only working age folks and only for 3 to 6 months until they can get to their permanent spots. We did our homelessness study, and this is the population that we have highlighted through the study that needs our support. So it's going to be a lot to get this all up and running. These pods, we're looking at March of 2026 as the earliest. We don't have a location, but we welcome community input, and we're looking at examples from other places that have worked. Councilmember Spatafor says, what's the estimated relocation cost? $20,000, and that's included in the budget. Spatafor says, what's the ongoing estimated operational cost? And that is $750,000 annually that has not been budgeted yet. Councilmember Brown says, how are these pods going to hold up in the weather? And the answer is they've got heating and cooling units. They can withstand the snow. There's thousands of them in Colorado right now with no issues. Councilmember Brown says, will these be up to code? And they're saying, well, we're working on it.
They're working on a lot of stuff.
They are. Councilmember Pelivanoglou says, it sounds like there'll be a screening process to make sure that these are the right people that we want in here. But we've heard from folks that oftentimes people can lose their documents in encampment sweeps, like what's going on with this. And the answer is, we'll have a process for that. Don't worry about it. Councilmember Pelivanoglou says, we need to keep this as a budget priority so we can develop a sustainable plan around it. Councilmember Carter says, could these pods be used in emergency situations like tornadoes? And they're like, well, I guess if they're not already being used for our unhoused folks, like, sure. Councilmember Carter says, what about families? We've had a lot of questions about families. The answer is yes, families are in dire situations sometimes, but from our study, we are focusing on single people use for these. And Councilmember Hussein says, it feels like we're putting the cart before the horse with this. I know we're getting a good deal on the pods, but we need a whole sustainable plan. What's our plan? And the answer is, maybe we'll have a meeting. People like meetings.
Let's have a committee. Oh, no, wait. A task force.
Yes, more task force.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes. Councilmember Hussein says, where are we going to put this? Stabenow Park? And the mayor jumps in. He's like, yeah, maybe not. I guess Mayor Shore threw a Stabenow Park out there because it's one of our 8 or 9 parks with existing bathroom facilities. So out of 111 parks, only 8 or 9 of our parks currently have bathrooms, and they're mostly locked. Regardless, this budget allocation does pass unanimously through both meetings.
Oh, my God.
So we'll see what happens next with the pods. After the vote, people are like, thanks, but 3 to 6 months is not really enough time. I've been trying to find housing for 2 years, and it's really hard. Like, it can take a long time.
Yeah.
The winter is approaching this winter. We need a plan now for not freezing this winter before March. President Cost has to kindly remind folks not to clap. No clapping is allowed after the comments.
Don't clap because you agree.
That's right. People are fanning themselves with fans.
Because it's 100 degrees in that room.
Yes. It's got a very, 1950s courtroom vibe with the fanning. But then other folks are playing, casino games on their phone. And that's very, capitalist vibe. It's all happening.
Especially when there's all those people in there to talk about the homeless.
That's right. So, the one comment was we need to work on our societal image of the unhoused. I have a friend who's in the encampment who wanted to come to the meeting but needed to stay back because they were making dinner for the camp.
Oh, man. I tell you, it's so sad that we have that the year is 2025. And then the United States of America, we have to talk about housing our homeless. Mm-hmm. And it's worse that we have to house families and children. Yeah. I would have thought when I was born, because I'm the end of the baby boomers. I was born in 1961. So, I'm sure that my parents always dreamed for me to live in a better world. I don't know if I live in a better world, I live in a different world. But I think that if we think about when has homeless been an issue, always.
Yeah.
Always. And we can't seem to find, as a society, we can't seem to find a way to make our society more holistic so that we can help homeless people no matter what their issues are, no matter what happened to them, so that they could, might have lost their whole life, might have never had their whole life, might have been kicked out of their whole life. We've never done anything to help that situation. And until we as a society do that, this is always going to be an issue. Yeah. And no matter how many pods we bring in, and no matter how many buildings that we build, this is always going to be a problem because it's systemic. It's not something that just our one city can fix. Yeah. And you know what? Unfortunately, what they were saying, I think that when a city finds a way and to start helping people who are homeless, other people are gravitated because they know they can go there and get services. They know they can get help. They know all of those things. Yeah. Yeah. That's something that you have to deal with all the time.
Yeah. But I guess it's like the whole stoic thing, like the obstacle is the way. Maybe there is a benefit to having more people here who can help out in other ways. I mean, you never know until you really, I don't know.
Exactly. You never know until you really can see your solution is even making a dent. Yeah. And I think one of the things that we do is we don't look for a dent in helping a solution. We look for the total fix. Yes. Which will never happen. But if we can have many, many dents in a problem, then we're moving at least towards what the fix would be. Yes.
And a commenter did say progress, not perfection. So that's where we're headed. And somebody else making progress is the CATA folks. So next,
what was the next thing?
There were two other planned presentations that they were going to have during the committee of the whole, but they were like, we'll do those another time. Like, this is taking a long time. But Brad Funkhauser of the Capital Area Transportation Authority, CATA, he carried on with his presentation. It was a bang up review of their happenings. He was a very good presenter. And he stressed that CATA should also be involved with any planning for the homeless folks because public housing and public transportation should go together hand in hand. These people.
Novel idea.
Yes. And he said, we can do this. Like, we can help. Put them on a bus route, and we've already donated 36,000 free passes. And we're happy to do more. We're here to help. He was saying that pre-pandemic ridership was 11 million rides a year. And during the pandemic, it was down to 3 million. Last year, they had 9 million rides. And this year, they are on track for 10 million rides. So that's good.
That's really good.
They're working on their CATA Rides program, which fills the gap in the first and last mile for folks. Lansing has the largest paratransit in the state, so I think that's transit to help
people who need accommodations.
People who need accommodations, there we go. So they're going above and beyond the state minimums for that. They've gone to contactless payment with their tap and go system. They've added 5 new bus shelters. They have a listening bus where they ride with folks to hear feedback. They have translation services, and I wasn't sure if this was like to translate what is going on in the bus or just like to translate other stuff. But that's happening. They have an electric bus. They are working on seamless regional integration with neighboring areas such as Delta Township, Charlotte, and Grand Ledge. And they're working to get everybody on the same app so that you just look at one place on your phone. They're excited about their new building at 511 South Washington Ave, just south of the current bus depot. It's an old Greyhound station with a lot of history, and there will be a community center attached to it. In some not-so-great news, they're going to be losing a lot of state and federal money. Next year, they're looking at a $12 million shortfall, but they have planned for that. So
that's good.
They've got 1 year to go. And then 2027, all bets are off. Let's see. Councilmember Hussein says, how is it going with your partnership with the Lansing School District? So all the high school kids can ride CATA for free. And the Funkhauser is like, it's going great. Sometimes there are fights, but kids will be kids. So great, I guess. Hussein asks, have the bus wraps been a good diversified revenue stream? And Funkhauser says, well, we're not making much off of those. We could be making more, but we have like self-regulated ourselves in terms of advertising. Like, we're not going to just let like marijuana companies or like.
But that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So hard to know what to do there. They were like, great. So at the break, there was some turnover in the crowd. The committee of the whole went an hour over, so regular meeting doesn't start until 8. And I felt like city council was not doing a great job of like really explaining how this budget allocation thing worked. So like it was at the first meeting, and in the first meeting, they vote to do it again in the second meeting.
Yep.
But people in the first meeting and like the public comment for the second meeting were like, oh my God, thank you so much. And it's like, they haven't done it yet.
That's because people don't understand how it works.
Yeah. And it's like, no one is explaining it well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And we wonder why people don't know how the city works or how meetings work or any of that stuff. You know, people need to.
Right.
Not that I want to say anything bad, but, you know, think about the crowd who's at your meeting and how much you think they might need to know.
Like,
are they all lawyers?
Yes,
no.
No. Yes. So anyways, but they did pass it again in the second meeting, so it was all great. Let's see.
I love CATA, by the way.
Yeah?
Yes.
Do you ride the buses?
I don't ride the bus, but they have been giving so many bus passes to LCC through our foundation for our students. It's just like awesome.
That is wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I'm too bougie. I don't ride the bus. Unless, of course, my car is broken. Okay. Then I ride the bus. Well, thank God I have one on Cedar and one on Pennsylvania right by my house.
That is very nice. Yes. So I like to give a Best Dressed award. And this time it goes to a public commenter who had stunning frosted tipped braids and a knit dress that faded from strawberry pink to Arctic blue.
Ooh.
The Lansing State Journal reporter, who's usually there, was sharing some of his snacks with audience members. That was nice. And the regular meeting began. So first there was a tribute in recognition of Richard Miller, who is the unofficial mayor of Sheffield Boulevard in Ward 3. Hussein gave the honor, and Mayor Shore also spoke mayor to mayor about Miller's dedicated years of service. And Miller himself listed off the number of trash bags he has picked up over the last few years. 241 bags last year and 104 so far this year.
Oh my God. People, pick up your garbage.
Just like, don't litter. Like, then he wouldn't have
to do that work.
Yes. God.
Oh.
Let's see. Next, Catherine Hubbard gets appointed to the Michigan Ave Corridor Improvement Board. She works for U of M Sparrow and is already engaged with the neighborhood groups of Eastfield, the ENO, and Allen Center.
Okay.
Great.
That's good.
Mayor Shore gives an update on his weekend events, which include see Lansing basketball star Magic Johnson. He is excited that Yuengling, I don't know how to say it, Yuengling beer from Pennsylvania can now be found in Michigan, but Pastor Stan Jenkins of First Presbyterian cannot because he is moving to Pennsylvania. Is that a good trade?
Good question. I haven't gone to that church, so I wouldn't be able to answer that one. Maybe we should get some of the parishioners to say whether that is a good trade or not. We don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. The Riverwalk Theater applied for a state club type of liquor license, and a member of their board was there to talk about that.
Did they get it?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I don't know. It seems like liquor stuff has come up in the past, and it seems like it's not wholly a city thing. There's layers of whatever, but I don't know. The city did their part to approve it. One person said, I do not want there to be a liquor license at the Riverwalk Theater. There's enough places for people to get drunk.
Highly unlikely you're going to get drunk at Riverwalk Theater because a glass of wine will probably be $12.
Yes. You got it. I mean, the warden serves alcohol like Yeah.
Yeah.
There has been a brownfield plan presented at the last few meetings at Pleasant Grove and Holmes for a mixed-use redevelopment with 30 units, commercial space that the Lansing Area Federal Credit Union has already committed to putting a branch there, a coffee shop, as well as a Malcolm X Memorial. And this brownfield will have a unique funding model with community capital that is crowdsourced, and that gets the go-ahead from council.
Well, it's a good place to put some housing sooner than later. Don't make them too fancy because people need to be able to afford them, you know?
Yeah. Okay, in the only split vote of the night, the council was assigning a tenant relocation fee dollar amount, which would be $85, to their other ordinances that they changed in the last meeting. And so the thing from the last meeting was like, if your place that you're renting becomes not good through the fault of the landlord or emergency. I mean, the intent was like, if the landlord is not taking care of their property and it becomes unlivable, then somebody is going to have to pay to move people out of there while it gets fixed up. And it should be like the landlord's responsibility. So kind of like that's the intention here.
Okay.
Councilmember Jackson, who missed the meeting where this went through, said, I understand what our intent here is to protect tenants, but he thinks that it will ultimately raise rent for folks because the landlords will just take that fee out of like what they're charging people. So
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's going to raise the rent to people who probably really can't. If they're living in those kinds of apartments or housing, it's going to raise the rent of people who can barely afford where they're living.
Yes. President Cost is kind of annoyed with Jackson. He gives him an okie dokie acknowledgement before reiterating his own views that this is good legislation.
Oh.
So, in some spice near the end of the meeting...
Oh, I love the spice. What happened?
I feel like this is some good one. Councilmember Cost introduces an ordinance change to reduce waste hauler traffic in the city by establishing the city as the sole provider of all curbside solid waste collection. So, somebody from Granger...
Oh my God, you're going to get rid of Granger and waste management? What are you thinking?
Granger is right there saying, hey, I just heard about this. Like, what? Like, we have been great corporate citizens. We have been taking your trash for the past 60 years. We are rooted in the Lansing community. Like, maybe talk to us. The people of Lansing need the freedom to choose their waste haulers.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes. We should be able to choose who we want to pick up our trash. I like competition. I still don't know who's the least expensive.
I feel like the main argument is that we're basically like double or tripling up this service, that we're putting all this extra traffic on the roads through these waste haulers going through like multiple times a week when we could just be doing it more efficiently if we just had like one person going through.
Well, and then it's even if we just had Lansing, we would still have two because we have the recycling guys and we have the garbage guys, right? So we have them both.
Yes.
So I don't, my street, I live on Ridgewood. It's a very short street. It's only a couple of blocks. It's in between Cedar and Pennsylvania. There's a pothole in front of my house that's so deep it almost ate my F-350. It's literally in front of my house. So there's other things that we need to worry about more than who's going to pick up my trash. Just pick up my trash.
Yeah.
But I don't care which truck gets stuck in the potholes. Just get my trash.
Yes.
And you know what? The other thing too, I'm worried if that was the case. We don't have enough workers. Who's going to pick up the trash? Are the city council members going to ride the truck and pick up the trash?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And are we going to hire more people? Probably not. Some of those things that we would need to change the infrastructure like that isn't a possibility. Yeah. So, while it's kind of a cool idea to have Lansing do their own thing, I don't think it's really very realistic.
Well, neither does the Granger folks. A few final comments. Someone said the city needs to communicate better with its residents. We need some sort of a report. Like, what is going on? There are so many great people here. Everyone needs a chance to help build up the solutions. Someone said, I am sick of seeing an abandoned mobile home park on my drive from Holt to Lansing on South Washington Ave, just south of 94. This should become Lansing's 112th park. And the last comment was, I want to see better accessibility of the committee meetings. A lot of times, the audio on the recordings of those meetings is not great. Like the mic, audio recordings are important. Please try to view these meetings yourself, and you'll see what I mean.
Oh, that's a good thing. I bet nobody ever has. They just put it out there wherever it goes.
That's right.
And you have a great facility like here that people should know how to use the machines.
Right, yeah. So
I don't know. I think that's funny about the mobile home park. I didn't know that there wasn't any. It was really abandoned. Yeah. I just see it from the freeway when I drive by. Oh, things that we could do to make our city better.
Yes. So many. There's a long list.
It's a long list.
Let's post that list and look at it.
And look at it. And actually, I have this friend one time who said to me, he goes, when you have so many things that you want to do, but you can't do them all, he says, take just one bite, a little chewable chunk. Mm-hmm. Before you know it, you'll be full and you'll have a lot done. And that's what we have to keep on doing here in Lansing, I think. Yeah. I think we got tons and tons and tons of great people with great ideas to do great things. Mm-hmm. I think we need to listen to each other, and we need to plan, and we need to really decide what's the most important to keep our city to be a great city in the state. So
yeah, we got to eat our vegetables first.
I know. It's not all about the cake. It's about the Brussels sprouts.
There we go. Serve Brussels sprouts at your food truck?
No. Just wild rice. I do serve rutabagas. In my wild rice soup I make, I have rutabagas in there and celery, carrots, and onions. And everybody says, what are these, potatoes? I says, no, they're old-fashioned vegetable rutabaga. Oh, yeah. Because people don't eat that. It's the old vegetables. People don't eat that. But I like it because it gives a better flavor to wild rice, which really isn't rice. It's really grass, but it's very tasty.
Amazing. So thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me, Jill. I really appreciate it. This was fun.
Good, great. And for all of you listeners, I would welcome you to join our Patreon community for $5 per month. You will get a heads up on the upcoming guest list and a map of the meeting locations. The next meeting will be August 25th. My bad for saying that it would be that one last time. So for real this time, August 25th will be the next meeting. And thank you to the Public Media Center for letting us record with you. Thank you, Eva, for being here. Thank you all for listening.